everybody, and welcome back to pre-episode number 4 of Dad's A to Z. Two guys that think they know everything, but everybody knows their wives know better.
Every day we're going to bring a topic, different topic to talk about from a dad's point of view. Today's topic, we want to touch on foul language and how we deal with that.
Yeah, George Carlin had his famous stand-up bit, and because I don't quite have the editing figured out on the audio, I'm not going to repeat all of them, but it's the F word, the S word, the C word. There's all sorts of language you can't use.
Or can you use it, but you shouldn't?
And that was always something that I knew I was going to have to touch with my kids. And I think it was my son, about 6th grade, brought it up. It wasn't on the front of my mind to the point where I said, all right, I got to talk to him about this. It was, Dad, there's this kid and he's dropping the F-bomb all over the place, this, that, and the other thing. And I think I kind of shocked him when I said, there's nothing wrong with the word. And he said, what do you mean? I said, every word, from the N word to everything, has a place somewhere. It's a matter of context. Now, a 6th grader is going to use that kind of language, and I almost let one fly out, because they're going to be cool, so to speak, or they're trying to make an impression, whether it's of dominance or, making everybody go, wow, man, he said that. Now, I've always kind of made it my point to say there's a place for it. It doesn't mean you should use it. And I'll tell you, to this day, my daughter is still even afraid to say shut up, because she grew up thinking that was bad language. But they're fully aware. And it's to the point where, I grew up very differently. And my wife did too. She's Episcopalian, I'm Roman Catholic. And, Roman Catholic, you do anything wrong, you're going to hell. And then you got to go to confession. And those things, the curse words, which I think it was supposed to mean that it was supposed to wish you ill, were horrible, terrible. And that was so much part of my growing up that to use the words would literally be my brother and I going, all right, I'm going to say something, but you don't tell anybody. And then if you say something, you don't tell anybody. And that was kind of how I grew up. And I realized later in life that, when in the restaurant business, when everything goes to S, sometimes you go into the walk-in cooler and yell the F word as loud as you can. It's cathartic. Not a very popular stance to take. And in your time in America, you've seen that at this point. But it's still kind of this taboo subject, to the point where there's a channel, IFC channel, that they don't edit, or I think it's IFC, they don't edit any of their movies. And sometimes something will come on and they'll drop one of the words and you're like, and then you remember it's just a word and it's used in the context. It's a war movie, and the tensions ran high. I know Europe has a different perspective on a lot of things that are considered taboo. If a kid said the F word or whatever curse words were in the Serbian language, was it a big shocking thing there?
So, I completely opposite. So, in Serbian language, in Balkans in general, so all the other small countries that came up after the civil wars, cursing and teaching curse words to kids is, most of the kids actually learn the first words were the curse words. So when they're growing up, so they would, because it sounds cute when like a toddler starts swearing, and it's funny because when I think of my daughter, 5-year-old, talking in Serbian and using Serbian swear words, it's cute. Like I find it like adorable, but I can't imagine her saying that in English. So it's really weird. So in Serbian culture, swear words, um, the synonyms for F and S and all the words, are part of the daily vocabulary, and you're gonna hear it everywhere, everywhere. And kids are taught to use it everywhere where it's appropriate. And it's a funny thing. I like, for example, I just went to like Serbian embassy in New York last year, and the guy that is one of the clerks in the embassy, he was something, and he's just, "Oh, what the f this is," like it's just like talking to like just it's just part of the work. And for me, it wasn't like, oh, he just that's just normal. Um, and if I'm at work, I can with my boss, and I'll be like, "What the f are you talking about?" And it will be perfectly fine. Nobody would even like look at it. The funny thing is that you can use the same words to insult somebody,
Hmm.
and they will get insulted because you use it a different way. Also, the funny thing is the kids never use them in school, ever, and they know you cannot use it in school.
Amongst themselves as well.
Yeah, I don't like when I was growing up. It's a part of vocabulary, but we just didn't do it in school.
See, the converse was here because it is so taboo.
You use it.
You got
Yeah,
used it more often. You didn't use it in school, and if you did, God help
yeah.
you, detention, suspensions, what have you. I I was going to ask, do you think it's because
Because it was not a taboo.
their words?
It was not a taboo. Like it was just a everyday subject, and we knew that it's a bad word, but we would never use it in a bad sense or a bad way unless we intended to insult someone.
Wouldn't say it to mom and dad or teacher.
No, you would. The mom and dad, like everybody,
Really?
except teacher. Like except the teacher. Like it would never. Mom, dad, like everybody. It's just normal. Like it's just used to emphasize the emotion and to like stress out. And it was never. I felt like kids were taught when it's appropriate to use it, and then that's how they use it, and then nobody really cares.
Which I get, and that's the angle I
Yeah.
preach now. Definitely not how I grew up. I remember the first time, I think I just said son of a B in front of my mom or dad or something like that. And I was 17, 18 and was waiting for the reaction. That's the culture in which we come from. And I think part of the problem is it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. We make it a bad word.
Oh
So,
yeah.
so therefore, it's a bad word. You say it, that's bad, that's terrible. Take the power out of it.
Yeah. It's
You
not.
know, use it when you need to use it. But if you make it so taboo, so you can't even say it on television.
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous. I feel like what I noticed, and again, for me it's a language issue because when I went to Serbia last year or some whatever year and a half ago, um, I haven't been in Serbia like 10 years and really haven't spoken Serbian much, like maybe once a week with my mom and that's it. So when I went back and I was met with my friends and this like it's just right back on, like I would be swearing like a sailor. But it was just like normal part. I don't do it in English.
Hmm.
Like I just don't do it. Like
I don't think since I've known you, I don't
Yeah,
think I've heard
I
you say
don't-
one word.
if it's something like it's gonna come out if it's like like with everybody has that moment when it comes out and you say what the
Right.
is this like like it comes out when you're angry or whatever the emotion is. But like like a regular way, it almost bothers me when I hear others. I was listening to some podcast, some girl was talking about it, and every other word was a swear word. Like I was like, what's the point of like I don't understand. Like what are you trying to accomplish? Like you can use it, but like why every other word? So for me, it was now. So I would never teach my kid to swear because first of all, part of the culture here is a no. But I feel that it is highly hypocritical to almost pretend those words don't exist. Like, oh, we're not gonna like no, like we don't. No, you have to explain to the kid there is an F word and S word and B word and C word and all those words, and this is how you use it. I watched it on the internet. It was a funny thing, but like they were like, oh my, like, talking about the same thing, and like my 5-year-old went to or 7-year-old went to a supermarket and saw a cauliflower rice, and the kid's like, what the F is this? And they were like, that's the most useful way of using that word, because what the F is the cauliflower rice? And it was perfect, like, so she didn't insult anybody. She didn't do anything. Like, I think it's a perfect use of that word, but it would be like, God forbid, used. And I feel like it's.
And admittedly, I'd probably react the same way had I heard it. I'd be like,
yeah,
it would be funny, or I would, definitely eyes and, oh my God, did you just hear
like
that?
at my work, like it's not like you can't. There's no like, it's against the policy.
See, conversely, it wasn't a cultural. Well, it was a subcultural thing. Working in, and anyone that's worked in a restaurant can tell you, once you get into that back of the house, there's nothing you can say that's going to make me blush. I think that's the clearest way to put that. And I was no different. I mean, if I needed something, I was the manager, it was banging on the stainless steel table going, where the F are my French fries? There's a famous one that if any of my former employees hear me about, yelling, losing my mind over green onions on some sour cream for some potato skins. And I probably used every word I could possibly think of just because I couldn't get one guy to put green onions where they needed to be.
And I think that's a right way to use the swear words.
I mean, Gordon Ramsay's famous for it.
Yeah, because like it helps you stress how much emotion you have. And I think that's the point of the swear word, is to do that. I can't be like, oh, you should have really put those green onions on that. Like after fifth time, it's like it's the end of it. My point is just that I feel like, and I'm gonna probably teach my daughter the same way, because we don't swear in front of each other, so we don't do it. It's not a big deal, but maybe sometimes when I'm too angry, it comes out. But everybody who has toddlers, like, hi. But I'm trying not to, like, that's not a daily vocabulary. And but I will teach her what it is, when it's appropriate to use it, when it's not appropriate to use it, so she can know that, when she's not shocked when she's in 5th grade and somebody says a bad word, because as you said, it's a word. It's how you understand it. And perfect example is like in my culture, it's a daily vocabulary, and then you can use the same word to insult the same person. You just mentioned that word 2 minutes ago, because now you use it in a different context, and they get upset when you say F you for whatever. Get upset. Or if you say, why the F you were late, nobody cares. And you can tell that to your boss, and nobody cares. And it's like just like that. Like I can go to like anywhere except like school. And I felt like it was, when I came here, as I said, I felt like hypocritical. Like I feel like we are, maybe this can be another subject coming in. I think we're shielding our kids too much from the things they're going to find out by themselves.
And it's funny you say that, because my father kind of set the tone and shielded at the same time, because he was famous, and my brother will remember this very clearly. It would be sugar, fudge, like I know what you're trying to say, Dad. I wasn't dumb. I knew what the words were. But he was still trying, because he's in his late 70s now. He was, at that point, he knew he wasn't supposed to be saying it, and he shouldn't be saying it in front of his kids. But reality is, those words are there, and you just make us want to use it more.
With anything you forbid, like anything.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Anything you forbid is like that. Like some things stick with you, but like anything that is like the forbidden fruit, like it's a saying, it's a forbidden fruit. Like,
but even the overuse, and I'm going to say this to everybody that overuses language just in their daily conversation, in my opinion, not speaking for anybody else, I immediately diminish whatever it is you're trying to say. Because if it's every third word, you have nothing to say. You're just trying to flower it up to make a point. And to me...
And that's terrible. I agree. Yeah,
it's those words specifically. You could use How irritating is it when somebody says the same word all the time? Say really every third time. It kind of diminishes a little bit of what they're saying because it's just figure out some more language. But when you're using whatever we call curse words as a filler, you sound dumb. Okay, all right. That's just how I'm going to say it. And I've known some pretty intelligent people that use it because it's a crutch for them.
So know when to use it.
Yes.
It is not for everything because it's just going to lose its value and it's not going to mean anything anymore. It's just another word that make you sound like an idiot.
And it won't sound so shocking when it's used in the proper context.
Yes, if you use it the right way, it makes a point. Because especially if it comes from like somebody like me who does not swear, and if I use it, you know that it ain't good, you know. But if I use it every day, what's the point of it? Like it's stupid. So tell us what you think about teaching your kids what is the right or wrong thing, and when is the right time to use it. I'd like to hear your comments and your opinions on it. We have two different guys with two different upbringings, and I feel like it's time to maybe teach our kids a different way. I don't know.
So tell us what you think, and make sure you ring the bell, effing like this video, and tell everybody. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Dad's A to Z. Thank you very much for sharing some time with us.
And subscribe as well. And we'll see you next time.
Effing next time. Good night.
See you later.